Leading Qatari news outlet Raya says Glazers will sign Manchester United purchase contract within hours. A leading Qatari news outlet claims that the Glazers will sign a purchase contract with Sheik Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani within the next few hours. The Qatari banker and head of the 9-2 Foundation was believed to be winning the race to buy Manchester United after having lodged a bid to buy the club in its entirety for a fee of over £5 billion. It is expected that the Manchester United purchase contract will be signed by the Glazer family that owns the club within the next few hours, after the Qatari group entered into a bid to buy the club against the offer. Those in the circle close to the Qatari bidder have now begun to express their confidence in the victory, and they believe that it is only a matter of time before the official announcement is made. 18 years of Glazer ownership has brought little to nothing in terms of investment off the pitch or success on it, particularly after the great Sir Alex Ferguson retired. If a decision finally has been made, it will be a welcome relief to the millions of fans who have been protesting Glazer ownership for many years after they plunged the club into debt by borrowing against it to buy it back in 2005. Manchester United have shown an interest in Oscar GLOUKH. Manchester United will sign Mason Mount from Chelsea this summer in a relatively expensive deal, with Erik ten Hag keen to bolster options in midfield. We all assumed that would be the only central player signed during this window. Another name has now been thrown into the ring by The Guardian, Oscar GLOUKH. The teenager plies his trade for Red Bull Salzburg, the club who have recently developed both Erling Haaland and Benjamin Sesko. According to the report, United have shown an interest in signing the 19-year-old midfielder, though there are a large group of clubs chasing the player. GLOUKH only joined RB Salzburg in January for £7 million, leaving Maccabi Tel Aviv in his native Israel. Now, the midfielder is now being eyed by some of the biggest clubs in world football. You get the feeling that winning this battle will be tough. GLOUKH will have options aplenty. He's probably wanting to move to a club that can offer him week-in week-out starts. Despite his immense ability, I'm not sure United can do that for him right now. He'd have to beat out Bruno Fernandes. Although it makes sense to put the feelers out, I'd be extremely surprised if United devoted any sort of sizable amount of money from their budget to sign GLOUKH. Fred attracting Saudi Arabia interest as Erik ten Hag identifies Brazilian's ideal replacement. Manchester United midfielder Fred is attracting interest from Saudi Arabia. The Brazilian is one of the players who could be sold this summer to boost Erik ten Hag's transfer budget. On Tuesday, the Manchester Evening News reported that Mason Mount's imminent arrival at Old Trafford will set the stage for Fred to leave the club. The 30-year-old has 1 year remaining on his contract, and the coming weeks represent the best opportunity for United to fetch a fee from his sale. This is backed by the Daily Mail, who report that, alongside the Cottagers, the United star is also the subject of overtures from Saudi Arabia. The Gulf state has been pumping significant investment into luring some of Europe's most famous and well-known names to the country. Mason Greenwood Company shows assets of £1 million during year after arrest. Mason Greenwood was still a big earner in the same year he was suspended by Manchester United following his arrest for alleged sex offences and assault. While the cases have since been dropped by prospectors, there is still a lot of doubt surrounding Greenwood's future. A return to United's first team would be unpopular among a large section of the match-going support, but there has been suggestions that he could move on loan this summer. Greenwood is still under internal investigation at United, and there's been little to suggest that they are close to a conclusion. In February, a statement from Manchester United read, "The club will now conduct its own process before determining next steps. We will not make any further comment until that process is complete." However, a report from the Mirror claims accounts filed for TSM Sports a 2019 business established in 2019 by the United Academy graduate and his father, for the financial period April 2021 to September 2022 showed current assets of £1 million. Furthermore, Greenwood was stripped of a lucrative deal with Nike following his arrest, so he has lost out in that regard at least. Greenwood is under contract at United until the summer of 2025, and it is understood that he still collects his £75,000 per week salary. Personal terms agreed with SOFYAN AMBRABAT. Manchester United are yet to confirm their first signing of the summer, with Mason Mount's arrival at Old Trafford set to be announced imminently, but now the club have agreed terms with another transfer target. According to La Nazione, Man United have agreed personal terms with Fiorentina midfielder SOFYAN AMBRABAT. As per the report, it is claimed that the Red Devils are strongly interested in signing the player this summer and have already found an agreement with AMBRABAT, but will need to convince his Serie A club to part ways with their star, which would cost €30 million this summer. Whilst Erik ten Hag's top priority will be to strengthen the centre-forward role ahead of next season, there is no doubt that the midfield personnel could benefit from a refresh this summer. As a result, the signing of AMBRABAT would be a great piece of business for Ten Hag if the club can reach an agreement with Fiorentina, as he could be a worthy competitor for Fred in the deep-lying role alongside Casemiro next season. Manchester United identify Andre Onana alternative in Premier League valued at £30 million. Brighton goalkeeper Robert Sanchez has emerged as an alternative option for Manchester United as Erik ten Hag looks to replace David De Gea in the summer transfer market. That is according to the Daily Mail, who add that the highly rated Spaniard has fallen out of favour under Roberto De Zerbi. The Brighton manager has therefore made Jason Steele his number one choice, and they're likely to add Dutch youngster Bart Verbruggen to their goalkeeper department from Anderlecht. However, I don't think Sanchez is a keeper United fans would put their nose up at. He has been one of the most consistent performers in the Premier League for some time, and it is a surprise that he didn't start for Spain at the World Cup. Not only is Sanchez a great passer of the ball, he kept a clean sheet against the Reds for 120 minutes in the FA Cup semi-final last season. Sanchez has been part of Brighton's academy since he was 15, so he is regarded as homegrown. On top of that, he has an English father.